There is an undeniable force that shapes the way men perceive, pursue, and prioritize a woman. It is not about physical beauty alone, nor is it about how much she gives, sacrifices, or invests in a man. It is something deeper, something unspoken yet profoundly felt. This force is feminine energy, the essence of a woman who understands her worth, embraces her individuality, and moves through life with a sense of confidence and purpose that commands attention without demanding it. Men are naturally drawn to women who exude confidence, mystery, and self-respect. They may be fascinated by looks, intrigued by charm, or entertained by personality. But what truly holds a man's attention long-term is the intangible energy a woman carries. It is not about being aggressive, controlling, or overly assertive. Instead, it is about the quiet power of knowing who you are, what you deserve, and what you will or will not tolerate. A woman who embodies this energy does not need to chase, convince, or persuade a man to see her value. He senses it the moment he meets her. Feminine energy is not weakness, nor is it about being submissive. It is about a deep, unwavering connection to oneself. It is the ability to be soft yet strong, to be kind yet firm, to be nurturing yet independent. It is about emotional intelligence, knowing when to engage and when to step back, when to give and when to withhold, when to be open and when to let mystery do the work. A woman who understands this balance does not operate from desperation. She moves from a place of self-assurance. When a woman fully embraces her feminine energy, she naturally creates an aura of attraction that draws men in without effort. It is not about playing games, manipulating, or pretending to be someone she is not. It is about authenticity, being completely in tune with her emotions, her desires, and her standards. She does not need to prove herself because she knows that the right man will recognize her worth without her having to spell it out. She does not need to lower her standards out of fear of losing someone, because she knows that a man who truly values her will rise to meet her expectations. A man will go to great lengths for a woman who carries herself with grace, dignity, and confidence. He will step out of his comfort zone, take risks, and even change his priorities to make room for her in his life. This is not because she demands it, but because he feels inspired by her presence. When a woman respects herself, a man instinctively respects her more. When she sets boundaries, he does not see it as rejection. He sees it as a sign that she values herself, and that makes him value her even more. Desperation repels. Confidence attracts. A woman who operates from a place of neediness often finds herself being taken for granted, ignored, or undervalued. This is because when a man senses that a woman is afraid to lose him, he no longer sees her as a challenge. He becomes complacent, comfortable, and uninterested in making an effort. But when a woman carries herself like a prize, not in an arrogant or entitled way, but with a quiet assurance that she is worthy of being pursued, she activates a man's natural instinct to win her over. Men are hunters by nature, driven by challenge and excitement. The moment something becomes too easy, too available, or too predictable, they lose interest. This is why a woman who fully embraces her feminine energy never chases. She allows a man to come to her to prove himself, to show that he is worthy of her time and attention. She is not cold or distant, but she does not overextend herself either. She understands the power of holding back just enough to keep a man invested while still showing genuine interest. A woman who harnesses her feminine energy does not let her emotions control her. She does not react impulsively, lash out in anger, or beg for reassurance. Instead, she moves with grace. She communicates her needs clearly, but without desperation. She knows that if a man is truly interested, he will show it through his actions, not just his words. She does not waste time trying to decode mixed signals because she understands that a man who wants her will make it obvious. She also understands the power of emotional stability. A man will not risk everything for a woman who is unpredictable, emotionally chaotic, or constantly seeking validation. But he will risk everything for a woman who is secure within herself, who does not need him to complete her, but who enhances his life in a way that no other woman can. This kind of woman does not demand attention. She commands it effortlessly, simply by being who she is. Mystery is another crucial aspect of feminine energy. A woman who reveals too much too soon leaves nothing for a man to wonder about. When a woman maintains an air of intrigue, when she does not lay all her cards on the table immediately, she keeps a man engaged and interested. She allows him to slowly uncover layers of her personality, making every interaction feel fresh and exciting. This does not mean being secretive or manipulative. It simply means not rushing to give everything away at once. A high-value woman knows that her time, energy, and love are precious. She does not waste them on men who do not appreciate them. She does not stay in situations that drain her, nor does she hold on to relationships that do not serve her. She understands that her energy is her power, and she chooses to invest it wisely. Men are drawn to women who are in love with life, who have their own passions, goals, and dreams. A woman who waits for a man to give her life meaning will always find herself disappointed. But a woman who creates her own happiness, who radiates joy and fulfillment, becomes irresistible. She does not look for a man to complete her. She looks for a man who complements her already amazing life. This kind of woman naturally inspires a man to step up, to become better, to work harder to keep her. He knows that she does not settle, that she is not easily impressed, and that she will not tolerate less than she deserves. And because of that, he is willing to risk it all just to be with her. People don't cherish what is always available. They don't value what they can have without effort. This is a fundamental truth that applies to everything in life: money, success, relationships, and especially human nature. The rarer something is, the more valuable it becomes. This is why exclusivity drives demand. It is why people are willing to pay more for something limited, why people stand in long lines for something they can't easily get, and why the moment something seems abundant, it loses its appeal. And when it comes to relationships, the same principle applies. If you make yourself too available, too eager, or too accommodating, you diminish your perceived value. The moment a man feels like he has you completely, with no challenge, no mystery, and no sense of urgency to win you over, his motivation starts to fade. It is not because he does not like you, but because human psychology is wired to appreciate what requires effort. People attach the highest value to things they have to work for. Scarcity creates value because it engages the human desire to chase, to conquer, to achieve. If something is given freely without effort, it feels ordinary, and what feels ordinary is never prioritized. This is why people tend to take for granted what is always there. A woman who is too accessible, too giving, too readily available loses the air of mystery that makes a man want to pursue her. The moment he knows that she will always be there no matter what, he no longer feels the urgency to act. The women who command the deepest respect, devotion, and commitment from men are the ones who understand this concept and embody it effortlessly. They are not playing hard to get. They genuinely operate from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. They do not behave as though a man is their only source of happiness, nor do they structure their entire world around a relationship. Instead, they live with the understanding that their presence is valuable and should be earned, not handed over easily. When a man sees that a woman is selective about who she gives her time, energy, and love to, he subconsciously associates her with high value. He begins to see her as someone worth pursuing, someone worth fighting for. He does not take her for granted because he knows she is not desperate. She is not sitting around waiting for his attention. She has her own life. her own goals, her own sense of fulfillment. And because of that, he becomes drawn to her even more. There is a distinct difference between a woman who is genuinely scarce because she has a life of her own and a woman who is pretending to be unavailable to manipulate a man. A high-value woman does not play games. She simply moves in a way that reflects her priorities. She does not cancel her plans at the last minute just because he called. She does not wait by the phone hoping he will text. She does not make herself an option to a man who has not proven he deserves a place in her life. Instead, she operates with the mindset that if he truly wants to be with her, he will show it through action. And because she is not always accessible, he values every moment he gets with her. He starts to see her as someone he cannot afford to lose. This scarcity effect makes him invest more, try harder, and step up his game in ways he would not if he knew she was simply waiting around for him. A woman who understands the power of scarcity also knows how to pace the progression of a relationship. She does not rush intimacy, does not overshare too soon, and does not allow a man to feel like he has already won her over without effort. She allows things to unfold naturally while maintaining a sense of intrigue. She does not reveal everything about herself immediately because she understands that mystery is part of attraction. A man should feel like he is continually discovering new layers to her rather than feeling like he has figured her out entirely from the start. This does not mean withholding affection or being emotionally distant. It means understanding timing. It means allowing a man to prove his consistency over time rather than giving him everything before he has earned it. It means setting a standard where his effort determines how much access he gets to her life. The women who are the hardest to replace are the ones who do not make themselves easy to obtain. Men have an instinct to pursue, to work for something, to feel like they have earned the love of a woman who is special. When a woman makes herself scarce, not by playing games, but by truly valuing herself, she taps into this natural instinct. She becomes the woman he thinks about, the one he does not want to lose, the one he compares every other woman to. She becomes unforgettable, not because she tries to be, but because she understands her worth and moves accordingly. A woman who gives too much too soon often finds herself feeling unappreciated. She may wonder why a man was so eager in the beginning, only to lose interest once she reciprocated his energy. But it is not about playing cold or distant. It is about understanding that the process of winning someone over is what creates emotional investment. If a man does not feel like he had to put in any effort, he will not feel as attached to the outcome. A woman who knows her value never begs for attention. She does not chase because she knows that anything she has to chase is already running away. She does not try to convince a man to see her worth because she knows that the right man will recognize it on his own. And in doing so, she positions herself as someone he is willing to risk everything for. Because deep down, he knows that a woman like her does not come around often. Emotional control is one of the most powerful traits a woman can possess. It is the ability to remain composed, to respond rather than react, and to carry oneself with grace even in the face of uncertainty. A woman who masters her emotions naturally commands respect. She does not allow external circumstances, fleeting emotions, or temporary situations to dictate her behavior. Instead, she moves with intention, maintaining her dignity no matter what. Men are drawn to women who have a strong sense of emotional stability. It is not that they expect perfection or a lack of feelings, but rather they are captivated by a woman who can navigate life's challenges without falling apart. When a woman allows her emotions to control her, when she reacts impulsively, overthinks everything, or seeks constant validation, she loses her sense of power. She becomes predictable, easy to manipulate, and ultimately less intriguing. A woman who can control her emotions, on the other hand, creates an aura of mystery, confidence, and self-respect that makes a man see her as someone truly special. When a man knows that a woman is unshaken by his actions, it forces him to take her seriously. He understands that she will not tolerate mistreatment, emotional games, or inconsistency. He sees that she is not desperate for his attention, nor does she need his approval to feel worthy. She has an inner strength that cannot be broken by temporary disappointments or setbacks. This is the kind of woman who makes a man step up his game, not out of fear, but out of deep admiration and respect. A woman who can control her emotions does not chase, beg, or plead. She does not send endless messages trying to explain herself, nor does she break down when things do not go her way. She understands that her time and energy are precious, and she does not waste them on people who do not recognize her value. She knows that emotional self-control is not about suppressing feelings, but about channeling them in a way that preserves her dignity. There is something incredibly powerful about a woman who remains calm even when she has every reason to react. She does not let anger, sadness, or frustration dictate her behavior. Instead, she steps back, assesses the situation, and decides the best course of action without letting emotions cloud her judgment. This makes her unpredictable in the best way possible. A man cannot easily read her, and that intrigues him. He wonders what she is thinking, what she is feeling, and how she can remain so composed when others would break down. Men respect women who can walk away when they are not being valued. It is easy to beg for love, to cry for attention, to demand explanations when someone pulls away. But the woman who simply removes herself from situations that do not serve her, who does not entertain toxic behavior, who does not lower her standards just to keep a man's attention, this is the woman who leaves a lasting impact. She does not need to prove her worth. She already knows it. This kind of emotional control does not mean being cold or heartless. It is not about shutting down emotions or pretending not to care. It is about having a deep understanding of one's own worth and refusing to let temporary emotions dictate permanent decisions. A woman who has mastered this balance knows that reacting emotionally often leads to regret, while responding with thoughtfulness leads to respect. She also understands the power of silence. Sometimes the most effective response is no response at all. When a woman refuses to engage in drama, when she does not argue just to prove a point, when she walks away instead of forcing someone to see her value, she becomes unforgettable. Silence forces a man to think. It makes him reflect on his actions, question his choices, and realize that he cannot manipulate her emotions. A woman with emotional control never gives away her power. She does not break down in front of someone who does not deserve to see her vulnerability. She does not allow someone's inconsistency to shake her sense of self-worth. She does not give a man the satisfaction of seeing her fall apart over him. Instead, she carries herself with poise, always maintaining an air of mystery and self-respect. This is not to say that emotions are bad. Emotions are natural and expressing them is important, but there is a difference between expressing emotions in a healthy way and allowing them to control you. A woman who knows how to manage her emotions can communicate her feelings without losing her sense of dignity. She can express disappointment without desperation. She can show affection without over-attachment. And she can set boundaries without fear of losing someone. The truth is, men will test a woman's emotional strength. They may pull away, act distant, or create situations that trigger insecurity just to see how she reacts. Not always intentionally, but often subconsciously, they want to know if she is someone who can hold her own or if she will crumble under pressure. The woman who remains unshaken, who does not allow temporary actions to dictate her emotional state, is the one who stands out. A woman with emotional control does not entertain situations that drain her. She does not engage in meaningless arguments, nor does she allow herself to be manipulated by sweet words with no action behind them. She is in control of her own happiness, and she does not place that responsibility on anyone else. This makes her powerful, When a man sees that a woman does not seek his validation to feel whole, he starts to view her differently. She becomes a challenge, not because she plays games, but because she does not react the way most women do. She does not lose herself in the process of loving someone. She maintains her identity, her standards, and her emotional balance regardless of what happens. A woman who understands the power of emotional control never begs for attention, never forces connections, and never sacrifices her dignity for temporary feelings. She knows that self-respect is the most attractive quality she can possess. She understands that a man will risk everything for a woman he knows is strong enough to walk away. A woman who does not rely on him for emotional security. A woman who carries herself with confidence and unwavering self-worth. Men are naturally drawn to women who have a life of their own. When a woman is deeply engaged in her passions, ambitions, and personal growth, she radiates an energy that is both magnetic and rare. She does not sit around waiting for a man to complete her, nor does she measure her worth by his attention. Instead, she cultivates a life so fulfilling that anyone who enters it must bring value rather than become the center of it. This is the kind of woman who makes a man take notice. This is the kind of woman who commands respect and admiration. A woman who has her own life is not easily swayed by the highs and lows of a relationship. She does not lose herself in a man's world, nor does she abandon her dreams to accommodate someone else's desires. She remains grounded in her purpose, driven by her own ambitions, and focused on her personal evolution. This makes her incredibly attractive, not just because she is independent, but because she carries a sense of self-assuredness that is rare to find. When a woman is fully invested in her own growth, she does not have time for drama, manipulation, or inconsistency. She does not tolerate half-hearted efforts or settle for less than she deserves. She understands that her time and energy are valuable, and she chooses to spend them wisely. A man who recognizes this knows that if he wants to be part of her life, he must bring his best self forward. He must step up because he sees that she is not someone who will wait around for him to decide what he wants. There is something incredibly powerful about a woman who is focused on her own journey. She wakes up with purpose. She moves with intention, and she is not easily distracted by meaningless situations. She is not constantly seeking external validation because she is already fulfilled by what she is building. This does not mean she is closed off to love or unwilling to be in a relationship. It simply means that a relationship is not the sole focus of her existence. It is a complement, not a necessity. When a woman has her own passions, goals, and commitments, she becomes a challenge in the best way possible. A man knows that he cannot simply walk into her life and expect her to drop everything for him. He sees that she is not waiting for someone to rescue her because she has already built a strong foundation for herself. This makes her presence even more valuable because she is with him by choice, not by need. A woman who prioritizes herself does not tolerate mediocrity. She does not waste time on relationships that drain her, nor does she lower her standards just to keep a man interested. She knows that her dreams matter, her goals matter, and her happiness matters. She does not put her own growth on hold for the sake of a relationship, because she understands that the right man will support her journey, not hinder it. There is an undeniable confidence in a woman who is secure in her own life. She is not afraid to walk away from situations that no longer serve her because she knows that her worth is not dependent on anyone else. She does not cling to toxic relationships out of fear of being alone because she has built a life that is fulfilling on its own. This makes her incredibly powerful. Men respect women who do not revolve their lives around them. When a man sees that a woman has a purpose beyond the relationship, he is forced to bring more to the table. He cannot afford to be lazy or complacent because he knows that she is not afraid to move forward without him. He sees that she is not emotionally dependent on him. which makes him value her presence even more. A woman with a life of her own is not constantly checking her phone, waiting for a message. She is not rearranging her schedule to accommodate someone who is inconsistent. She is busy improving herself, working towards her goals, and living a life that excites her. This naturally makes her more attractive because men are drawn to women who have a sense of purpose. A man will risk everything for a woman who knows her worth. He will chase, he will invest, and he will commit when he sees that she is not easily impressed by empty words or half-hearted gestures. He knows that she has options, not because she is playing games, but because she has created a life that is fulfilling, with or without him. This is the ultimate power. A woman who focuses on her own growth never finds herself begging for love. She does not settle for breadcrumbs because she knows she deserves the whole meal. She is not emotionally desperate because she has built emotional security within herself. This makes her rare. This makes her unforgettable. A man does not forget a woman who inspired him to be better. He does not forget a woman who had standards, who had ambition, who had a life that was so full that being with her felt like a privilege, not an entitlement. He remembers the woman who did not drop everything for him, but instead continued to rise while he watched. This is the kind of woman who leaves a lasting impact. Men are wired to chase, to pursue, and to earn what they desire. The moment something is too easily accessible, it loses its value in their eyes. It is not about playing games or manipulating emotions. It is about understanding human nature. When a woman makes herself too available, too eager, or too accommodating, she unknowingly diminishes her worth in a man's perception. He does not have to work for her attention. He does not have to prove himself, and he does not feel the need to invest because she is already giving him everything without requiring anything in return. A woman who understands her value does not overextend herself for a man who has not yet earned that level of access to her. She does not rush to reply to every message. She does not drop her plans at the last minute, and she does not go out of her way to prove that she is worthy of love. She already knows her worth, and because of that, she allows a man to step up and show his intentions. She gives him the space to pursue her, to invest in her, and to feel that he is earning something truly valuable. The reality is that men appreciate what they have to work for. If something is handed to them on a silver platter, they may enjoy it for a moment, but they do not cherish it. The things they fight for, the things they sacrifice for, the things they dedicate time and effort to, those are the things they respect and value. The same applies to relationships. When a woman is always available, always saying yes, always bending over backward to please a man, he does not have to put in any effort. He does not have to prioritize her because she has already placed herself at the bottom of the priority list. A woman who is selective with her time, energy, and emotions commands a different level of respect. She does not chase after love because she knows that love should be mutually earned. She does not beg for attention because she knows that a man who truly wants her will make the effort. She does not seek validation because she already validates herself. Men respect women who have standards. When a woman sets boundaries and refuses to settle for less, it forces a man to rise to the occasion. He cannot get away with bare minimum effort. He cannot expect her to tolerate inconsistency. He knows that if he wants to be part of her life, he must bring his best self forward. This creates a sense of urgency in him. He starts to see her as someone rare, someone who is not easily replaceable, someone he must work to keep. A woman who makes a man work for her attention does not do so out of arrogance, but out of self-respect. She is not playing hard to get. She is simply hard to get because she knows that she is valuable. She does not give her energy to just anyone. She is not swayed by empty words or half-hearted gestures. She observes actions. She pays attention to consistency, and she moves accordingly. This makes a man think twice before taking her for granted. When a woman gives too much too soon, she often finds herself feeling unappreciated. She wonders why the man is no longer as interested as he was in the beginning. She questions why he is pulling away, why he is not putting in effort, why he is taking her kindness for granted. The answer is simple. She did not let him work for her. She handed over her time, her emotions, and her energy without making him earn it. And in doing so, she unknowingly made herself less valuable in his eyes. A man needs to feel that he is investing in something worthwhile. When he has to put in effort, when he has to prove himself, when he has to step up, he values the relationship more. He takes it seriously. He does not want to lose something he worked hard to gain. But when things come too easily, when he does not have to invest, he does not fear losing it because he never had to fight for it in the first place. A woman who knows her worth does not overgive in the early stages of a relationship. She allows things to unfold naturally. She lets the man take initiative. She does not force connection. She does not beg for attention, and she does not rush the process. She understands that real value is built over time. She understands that a man who truly sees her worth will not expect her to lower her standards just to keep him around. Men are natural problem solvers, natural providers, natural pursuers. They need to feel a sense of challenge, a sense of achievement, a sense of earning what they desire. If a woman eliminates that challenge by being overly available, overly giving, overly eager, she removes the very thing that drives a man to commit. But when she holds her space, when she maintains her standards, when she lets a man prove himself, she becomes a prize in his eyes. She becomes the kind of woman he does not take for granted. A woman who understands this never feels the need to beg for love. She never feels the need to overcompensate, to prove herself, to overextend her energy for a man who has not yet earned it. She moves with confidence, knowing that her worth is not based on how much she gives, but on how much she values herself. She does not hand over her power. She does not chase after a man who is not putting in the effort. She lets him come to her, and when he does, he comes with full appreciation because he knows that she is not easily won. The key is balance. A woman should not play games or intentionally create distance just for the sake of it. But she should also not be so readily available that a man never has to put in effort. She should create an environment where a man feels the need to step up, to invest, to pursue. This keeps the attraction alive. This keeps the respect strong. And this makes a man see her as someone truly worth fighting for. When a woman radiates confidence, she becomes unforgettable. Confidence is not just about how she looks or how she speaks. It is about how she carries herself, how she believes in her worth, and how she refuses to settle for anything less than she deserves. Confidence is the energy that makes people take notice without her having to say a word. It is the silent power that commands respect, admiration, and deep attraction. A confident woman does not seek validation from others because she already validates herself. She does not rely on external approval to feel good about who she is. She knows that her value is not determined by how many people like her, how many men pursue her, or how much attention she receives. She moves through life with certainty, knowing that she is enough just as she is. This level of self-assurance is magnetic because it signals to the world that she is secure within herself. Men are instinctively drawn to women who exude confidence. There is something incredibly attractive about a woman who knows what she wants and does not waver in her standards. She does not question whether she is good enough for a man. She asks whether he is good enough for her. She does not lower her expectations to accommodate someone who is not willing to rise to her level. She does not beg for love, attention, or commitment because she knows that the right man will recognize her worth without needing to be convinced. A confident woman walks into a room and changes the energy without trying. It is not arrogance. It is not pride. It is an inner knowing that she belongs, that she is worthy, and that she does not have to prove herself to anyone. She does not shrink herself to make others comfortable. She does not downplay her success, her intelligence, or her beauty out of fear of intimidation. She embraces who she is fully. And in doing so, she attracts people who respect and admire her. A woman who lacks confidence often finds herself settling. She tolerates mistreatment, she accepts less than she deserves, and she stays in situations that do not serve her because she does not fully believe she can do better. She second guesses herself, she overanalyzes, and she lets fear control her decisions. This insecurity pushes men away because it creates an energy of neediness, of seeking approval, of waiting for someone else to define her worth. No man wants to feel like he is responsible for holding up a woman's self-esteem. No man wants to be with someone who doubts herself constantly. It becomes emotionally exhausting, and eventually he pulls away. A confident woman, on the other hand, does not need constant reassurance. She does not live in fear of being abandoned because she knows she will be fine regardless. She does not act out of desperation, trying to hold on to a man who is not putting in the effort. She walks away from situations that do not align with her standards because she knows that her happiness is not tied to one person. This is what makes her so powerful. She is not afraid to be alone. She is not afraid to choose herself. And when a man sees that she is strong enough to walk away if she is not being valued, he suddenly realizes that she is not someone he can afford to lose. Men risk everything for a woman who carries herself with unwavering confidence. They will do whatever it takes to keep her, to impress her, to prove themselves to her. They see her as a rare find, as someone who is not easily swayed, as someone they must rise to meet. She does not have to chase. She does not have to beg. She does not have to lower herself. She lets her confidence do the work. A woman who believes in herself creates an energy of abundance. She knows that there are endless opportunities, that there is no shortage of love, success, or happiness available to her. She does not operate from a place of scarcity, thinking that if she loses one man, she will never find another. She moves through life knowing that she deserves the best, and because she believes it, she attracts it. Confidence is not about being the loudest person in the room. It is not about arrogance or trying to prove a point. It is about knowing deep within that you are worthy, that you are enough, that you do not have to settle. It is about trusting yourself, believing in your decisions, and standing firm in your values. This is the energy that men cannot resist. A man will risk his time, his energy, his comfort, and even his pride for a woman who exudes confidence. He will go out of his way to prove his worth to her. He will prioritize her, respect her, and never take her for granted because he knows that she is not someone who will tolerate being treated as an option. A woman who truly believes in herself is unshakable. She does not let rejection define her. She does not allow one failed relationship to make her bitter or insecure. She understands that everything is a lesson, and she continues moving forward with grace and strength. She does not dwell on what went wrong. She focuses on what is next. This resilience makes her even more attractive because it shows that she does not break easily. A confident woman is unforgettable. She is the one a man remembers years later. She is the one who left an impression not because she begged for love, but because she carried herself with dignity, She did not settle for games, for mixed signals, for half-hearted efforts. She required a man to be intentional, to be consistent, to be present. She did not tolerate disrespect, and because of that, she earned the highest level of respect. Confidence is what separates the women who are chased from the women who do the chasing. It is the invisible force that makes people stop and take notice. It is the quiet strength that makes a man see a woman as someone worth fighting for. A woman who knows her worth never has to convince a man of it. She simply is, and that is enough.